let's finish the Berlin chapter. So
Sure, yeah.
2014, you came to Berlin, you started experiencing techno in a different way, or a different kind of techno.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what prompted you to start your journey producing the music you produce today.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the label came immediately after, so 2015 was the start, release number 1.
Yes.
Were you sending demos to others at that point?
Not demos. So if we look back a little bit more, like I was saying, I DJ'd and produced prior. Then I was working with a lot of different labels. And I got a bit frustrated with that. Also, mainly my fault, because I was working with too many different labels and there was no consistency in my release schedule. And there was maybe just dealing with different labels and inconsistency with everything in general, because I just spread myself way too thin.
Yeah.
So then, having moved here, made all this new music, sent it to some friends, sent it to Tina like I always do. One of those friends was Tommy47, like he's an old friend of mine from London. And then we reconnected after moving back here, and both him and Tina and another friend, Kevin Ambivalent, they were all leaning on. I wasn't sure what to do with this music. I didn't know if it was good. It was just what I was trying to recreate, what I was hearing in clubs here, or like what I wanted to hear in clubs here. And they were all leaning into the side of like, why don't you just start your own label? Because sure, you can work with other labels and you might get quick recognition or something like that. But they were like confident that the music sounded decent to have its own identity on its own label. And then like me thinking that, coupled with that and my previous issue with working with too many labels, that it seemed like a great time. So I had like lots of good people around me that were guiding or advising me as well at the same time. So
to bring things under your, like, to not be independent from others. So
yeah, and also just to like have a fresh start, because I'd previously produced and DJ'd under 2 different other names, and it's like, actually this music is so different to that, and that carries its own baggage, bringing that name to a project that's very different with preconception and everything like that. I mean, I remember I also used to know Spencer Parker for a long time, and from London. I used to buy records when he was working in a record shop in the early 2000s, I think it was, and I would send him music under this new project name, and then he was playing it, and I was like, it's really nice to know that someone I know but doesn't know it's me is playing the music. And then
it's really independent from knowing you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I wanted. Like, I wanted to reach people maybe that I knew, but I didn't want them to know it was me, because I really felt it needed to have its own grounding. And I remember I was emailing Spencer. I was like, thanks for the support and stuff. I was like, hey, do you want to meet for a drink or something? Because I was like, I should probably tell him that it's me. And he was like, nah, it's all right. Thanks for the music though. I was like, oh shit. And then I think I just had to tell him in the end. And he was like, oh, why don't you tell me?
No way.
I don't want to meet some random techno guy for a beer. And I was like, oh, sorry, Spencer. Yeah, so I was like very protective about it being a secret then, because I felt there was a lot of baggage from the past that gave it its own, like, well, it should have its own identity. I didn't want it to have any preconceptions, basically. Was my...
Did you drop the previous alias at that point?
Yes, yeah. I think I maybe played 1 or 2 gigs after I started the label. But then I was like, okay, I'm really enjoying this, and I just really want to focus all my attention with this. And it was also the time, like I was saying before, I wasn't able to produce on my own prior, and this was the time, after spending time on my headphones, that I was confident that I could make my music without help.
So it was like, for you was, let's cut the ropes from the previous...
Definitely, yeah. It was. I felt way more free then, and I could express myself without having to rely on others and their interpretations of me expressing myself as well.
And looking back at the last 10 years, what were the hardest things with the label and perhaps, with your music journey?
The hardest things? I think starting it was pretty tough for me, because I was already like before I did this, I was like in India and the UK. I was playing quite regularly. Like, I had a good residency in London. I was playing quite regularly, and I was like, let's say, on the circuit for many years. And then when I moved to Berlin, and before I started this project, I thought that would continue. But I'd been living outside Europe for a few years. I was living in India. And actually, like, it's out of sight, out of mind. And it was like, moved to Berlin, and there was like, actually, no one wants to book me. No one's really interested. That was pretty tough. Like, coming here, like, with these ideas and all this stuff that I would, what I wanted to do. And then actually, like, kind of falling flat a little bit. But it definitely was part of the process, and it was a positive overall experience. It was just very tough at the time to have that.
Just a quick word before we go back to the interview. Thank you so much for watching or listening to the podcast. I'm Joseph, and this is the Almost Sound Studio. If you enjoy this content, please consider liking and commenting on this very episode, and also following us on the platform where you listen to or you watch the podcast, but also follow us on social media. If you have suggestions of guests that you really would like us to interview, see the link in the description. There's a form where you can submit suggestions for guests, and also if you have questions for them. Once again, thanks so much for watching and listening to the podcast. We love what we do. I hope to see you soon on a dance floor.